Sergio Perez claimed pole at the Miami Grand Prix as Charles Leclerc's crash prematurely ended qualifying and left Max Verstappen ninth on the grid. Fernando Alonso took second for Aston Martin ahead of Ferrari's Carlos Sainz, while there was also surprise high finishes behind them for the Haas of Kevin Magnussen in fourth and Alpine's Pierre Gasly in fifth. Verstappen, who leads Red Bull teammate Perez at the top of the Drivers' Championship by 6 points, aborted his first attempt at a flying lap in the final part of qualifying after an error and then prevented from completing his second effort when Ferrari's Leclerc hit the barrier at turn 7, prompting a red flag. The Dutchman, who was chasing a third successive title, had appeared to be in a league of his own after topping second and third practice, but paid a heavy price for a momentary loss of control. In contrast, Perez, who was buoyed by the US sprint victory in Azerbaijan last weekend, had admitted he was struggling more in Miami. However, when it mattered most, the Mexican produced a strong lap that gives him an opportunity to secure a victory that would take him above Verstappen in the championship, with Red Bull sitting there 5th out of 5 this season. It's been my worst weekend up to qualifying, Perez said. I couldn't figure out how to put those tenths I was missing to Max in the Ferraris. I was just resetting everything we did, making a small change in qualifying that made everything more alive. We put in the lap when it mattered. George Russell was 6th for Mercedes, ahead of Leclerc in the other Alpine of Esteban Ocon, while Valtteri Bottas rounded out the top 10. There were surprise exits for Aston Martin, Lance Stroll 18th and Lewis Hamilton 13th. Having been outdriven by Perez in Azerbaijan, Verstappen appeared to have summoned his best form in practice though. The Dutchman, who had been calm and focused amid the fanfare surrounding the first of 3 US races this season, then looks to be on course for a third pole of the season, easy top Q1 and 2. However, the Miami track and a windy condition had just caught about every driver out at some point this weekend, and Verstappen's moment came at the worst possible time. I was trying to put it on the limit and then I made a mistake and had to abort the lap, he said. Then you really rely on a piece of luck, and that's not what you get with a red flag, but that can happen. I'm just a bit upset with myself. He may have got away with it though had it not been for Leclerc's latest display of ill discipline. After a promising weekend in Baku that saw him claim the first podium of the season, Leclerc enjoyed a highly erratic weekend in Miami. The Ferrari driver crashed in practice on Friday, and it was the same corner, turn 7, where his qualifying incident occurred. When Baku was an overall success for Leclerc, he also crashed in a sprint qualifying session in which he took pole, and his mounting errors will no doubt grow concern at Ferrari. I think what's unacceptable is doing the same mistake, say twice in a corner. I'm always really disappointed in myself. You cannot always find excuses in those stations. The wind was really strong. It was really tricky. The setup of the car was tricky, but I put myself in this situation, he said. The only consolation for Ferrari was that Sainz benefited from a series of errors to take third. Meanwhile, Alonso will be targeting a 4th podium in 5 races this season after equalising his best qualifying performance of the campaign in second. And yeah, Perez and Alonso on the front row tomorrow could definitely be juicy. But anyway, while Red Bull and to a lesser degree Ferrari's pace had been evident in practice, going into qualifying, it's hugely unclear what the pecking order would be behind them. The unpredictably played out in a dramatic fashion as Stroll, who reached Q3 at every one of the previous 4 races this season, was a Q1 casualty. The fact that the newly laid surface was rapidly improving throughout each session meant there was lots of jeopardy, with Alonso only avoiding an exit by a 10th. Both Mercedes drivers just about escaped in the closing moments, so Hamilton couldn't repeat that feat, and he was left annoyed by being sent out into traffic for an outlap that he felt compromised his efforts. There were also Q1 exits for the McLaren duo with significant upgrades before we in Baku, maybe not helping too much. But before I go, let me run you through the grid for the Miami Grand Prix. Sergio Perez on pole. Yeah, slice of luck. I don't think he's on the Verstappen's pace as he can, but I'm sure he can take it. A win tomorrow, he's got to be favourite for that now. Would put him at the lead of the championship. Hugely impressive stuff. Alonso in second. Yeah, great job from him. Just about sneaking through, but when he did, he made sure it was worth it. And yeah, he's in a great position for tomorrow. Sainz in third, perfect rebound for him from Baku. He's been much stronger this weekend. Magnussen 4th, Gasly 5th, highly impressive from them. They'll be really, really pleased with that. Russell in 6th. I mean, he may be disappointed to be behind those two, but at the end of the day, Mercedes just looked awful. So yeah, he did well to get into Q3, and I think he'll be relatively happy with that. Can work with that. Mercedes race pace seems to be better. Leclerc and Ocon seemed frustrated actually. Maybe felt he could have been up there with Magnussen and Gasly. Leclerc will be frustrating. Just crashing at the same place twice is really poor, to be honest. Verstappen and Nice, it was that error that cost him, and obviously unlucky not to get a run at the end. But yeah, frustrating for Verstappen because I think he had the pace to easily get pole here. Bottas 10th, good effort from him to make it into Q3. Albon 11th will be frustrated just to miss out, as with Hulkenberg, especially with where Magnussen is. I think he made an error. Hamilton in 13th, yeah, I mean, wasn't great. Obviously, timing and that may have been an issue, but yeah, like Russell last weekend, Mercedes just seems like a hard car to drive. I'm sure he moved forward in the race, but yeah, hugely disappointing. Zhou in 14th for Alfa Romeo, maybe disappointed not to be a bit closer to Bottas, but yeah, Alfa Romeo seems to have improved at least this weekend. De Vries 15th, out qualifying Tsunoda, huge credit to him to bounce back from Baku. That's a good job from him. Norris 16th and Piastri 19th, hugely disappointing from McLaren. Yeah, I mean, those upgrades really haven't worked, have they? Sonoda will be disappointed not to quite qualify De Vries. Stroll in 18th. Poor performance from him, you have to say, and seeing how he can bounce back. And Sargent 20th. He's just not had great pace all weekend at his home race. But anyway, guys, that's it for the video. Thanks very much for watching. So like, share, subscribe. No thoughts, comments, and find show for daily F1 news. Subscribe to the channel, it'd be greatly appreciated. Thanks very much for watching. Peace.